Now let's get to your new year, new you personal finance calendar for the beginning of 2023. There's a lot of events you'll need to be on the lookout for. So let's kick things off here with getting a sense of the overall health of the economy with this Friday's jobs report. Then on January 12th, we're going to get the first major inflation reading of the year. Then looking ahead, there is a Fed rate decision on February 1st. After that, two big spending events on the horizon in February. You've got the Super Bowl on the 12th, followed closely by Valentine's Day on the 14th. You don't get caught out, depending on how elaborate your Valentine's Day plans are. Finally, one of the two certainties, I should say, in life, and that is, of course, taxes. The key date you need to know for that is April 18th. That is when your individual return from 2022 comes due. And Rachelle, I would argue sort of like the first few events that we pointed to, obviously the health of the labor market, as well as inflation reading, something that you can imagine investors really paying a very close attention to, because that does affect so much of what we've been talking about, which is interest rates. And as we've learned, whether it's credit card bills, your mortgage payments, your car lease, so much of that is going to be tied to what we see the Fed do.
Absolutely. When you think about the domino effect, these events don't just happen by themselves. They do have an effect on our everyday lives. If you're having to pay a bit more on your car note, that's a bit less that you're going to have to budget for something else. It might be time to perhaps take a look at the multiple subscriptions that all of us have now. Probably aren't keeping track on, as Netflix adds $1 or $2 here, or Prime adds, another $20 here. It all definitely adds up. And when you think of things like taxes, that terrifying time when it all really comes home to roost as to how you've really done over the past year. When you're looking at things like your 401k, you've seen, it's been a very tough year for 401ks, and hoping that we'll see something of a turnaround perhaps in the second half of the year. But really having that mindset of, what do I need to do? Perhaps I need to spend a little bit less on the Super Bowl, maybe not have Valentine's Day, maybe, risk getting in trouble, not spending that much on Valentine's Day, and just do what you have to do at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never gotten the blow your budget for Valentine's Day, but maybe that is just me, that I wouldn't say I'm not a romantic, but there's other days you could spend your money on. You get the sense, though, I should say, in so many of our guests who've talked about setting that emergency fund, that's certainly going to be key. Paying down the credit card, something that I know a lot of Americans think about at the beginning of the year. That's always a goal that's been set. And yet, because of the uncertainties, especially around the economic conditions, you get a feel that might be really key priorities here, at least in the personal finance department, for so many Americans who are saying, well, where is this economy going? 3 months from now, those calls for a recession by, potentially sort of mid-year, end of year, that's got to be weighing on a lot of people.
And you figure that's when we really sort of lay out the fixed versus the discretionary spending that we need to do. A lot of things that really aren't a priority. If you have to prepare for the potential for a recession, you just have to do what you have to do.